And action. Okay.
Action.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fusion Student Podcast. My name is Leif Anderson. I'm the host of this and the creator. I'm here with my club manager. He's monitoring it always, of course. Lachlan, the music teacher. You know your boy. You know him for the... you know him from the first episode, so I don't really have to introduce him. So Lachlan 5. Give a hand, everyone. Shout out. Oh, yeah. Put cue the applause sound effect right here. Anyways, so what is going to be happening today is we have a bit of a schedule that I want to go over. So we had a bit of a setup, we did a bit of a setup, so the setup's a bit long. So we kind of only have about 15 minutes left of lunch, but that's okay. We'll try to get through as much as we can here. So this is the second Fusion Student Podcast, and we're just going to be going over some local Fusion news, some national news, and then we're going to go and put Josh's interview video in, and I think that's going to be pretty nice. So let's get started. So first of all, for our local Fusion student news that we're going to talk about here, all of our new clubs just started out, I believe it was last week. Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely, of course, last week. And we always contact our administrator, the head of the school, for if you want to make a club. You can, in fact, though, of course, found clubs by yourself, and you can go invite students. You're going to need a teacher to do this. Of course, you need a club monitor so they can go monitor everything. You can have an adult, of course, acting and being in the acting leadership role position. So always very important to have that. So that's basically it. That's what you can do at Fusion. And some of the clubs that we have just started or initiated from all of our students are the video game club, which is now has been around for a while, made by Owen. So shout out to Owen. Let's go. Yeah,
let's go, Owen.
That's crazy. And then, of course, we have the Student Government Club, which is made by Anna. So the Student Government Club is basically just kind of this, how can I say it? A bit of like a honors kind of thing, or not honors. But it's more where students can go and join that club to volunteer and kind of make more executive decisions for the school, kind of manage things, kind of come together in a community-like way. So they can go and make suggestions and, kind of group coordinated ideas and plans to suggest to the school so we can kind of more easily centralize that, we can go and, our request to the school, what we want to do, things we would like more as students. We can have all of that centralized in a club, and then we can go send that to our administrators, such as Megan or Beth, to be able to schedule that stuff. So that's kind of the main goal of the Student Government Club. It's pretty cool. So shout out to Anna for making that. Of course, we have the podcast club. We have the art club, which was started by me, or really our art teacher, Kylie, but I kind of was the first one to go into it. And then, of course, after that, we have the business club, which is now has just been started by Grace. So all of these students I have mentioned here, Owen, Anna, Grace, and more, they probably will be at some point will be interviewed on the podcast. I want to get a bunch of students in here if they want to, of course, voluntarily, come in and all of that. But yeah, so that is basically it for our clubs and, local Fusion student news. And stay tuned for the rest of the episode because I'm going to go and do we're going to go and play in a cool little outside tour of our school. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to record this later now. Okay, everyone, this is actually a post-production quick insert. So right here, I'm going to be talking about I'm going to be talking about the segment that we're going to have. I'm going to do an outside segment around the school. I'm going to be showing you guys a bunch of stuff. That is going to be in the episode 3 or 4. It is not going to be here. We're actually going to have the Josh interview, but I'm still going to talk about it anyways. Back to the regular podcast. I'm going to show you guys what our school is like on the outside, and more specifically, all of the cool little restaurants that we go to. And we also have a farmer's market outside of our school, so that is very cool. We can see it. You can see the giant a line of farmer's market stands because we have these giant glass windows. The apartment suite that our school is in. This giant apartment, not apartment, but business suite that we have for our school. It's crazy. So
it's called Centennial Lakes.
Centennial Lakes. So yeah, we're also. Oh yeah, by the way, we're also next to this crazy, amazing lake, bro. So we got fishing access, bro. So freaking Minecraft when you join your single player world. exactly, real fishing, like truly real fishing, not just in Minecraft. You could go and bring out your laptop to the lake and, maybe play some Minecraft, go fishing virtually and in real life. I don't know. So experiment with that if you can. But yeah, so very nice. But today we're going to be looking at some National Fusion student news next. So I'm going to go and open up a link here. And then, yeah, I'll open up in Firefox. My battery's 11%. So right here, I have a screenshot I'm going to go and switch to and post. And right here, actually, this is a very cool and exciting new news for Fusion, is actually that right now at Fusion, the national level, there's been an introduction to a new panel at Fusion, like a whole new panel. This isn't just some kind of like, event or something, and then, there's probably going to be some cool, like, positive change afterwards. This is truly a new, this is truly like an actual panel that's being added, and it's called the HDHD. If you can't tell, that's on my screen, the HDH or ADHD panel. So this is a whole new panel and consists of at least the starting 3 doctorate people right here. Or it's 2 doctorates and then a therapist. We have 2 women and then the male therapist. And these guys are specializing in treating people, spreading awareness, of course, making executive decisions on the Fusion level regarding ADHD, because it is, in fact, actually a very common diagnosed thing. For a lot of kids nowadays, especially Gen Z with all of the, device, iGen, era stuff that's been going on. Obviously, everyone's been pretty aware of that now for probably the last 20 years or something. So very cool. But we have these 2 amazing people. We have Dr. Ali Labarbanba. Wow, that's a crazy last name, man. That's pretty cool. So, and then we have Dr. Robin Melton, so clinical psychologist specializing in neuropsych, psych ed, and psych assessments. Then we have a pediatrician. That's who Dr. Ali Labarda is. Temalpis pediatrics, and then we have a therapist for boys, young men, and their families, which is Jason Zuchowski. LCSW, so I'm not sure what that stands for, but some kind of college thing. So down here we can see that there are tons of new resources that are being made available specifically for, of course, parents, and all of that. So by joining the group, parents of neurodiverse children gain access to a wealth of resources, including educational workshops, expert advice, and the opportunity to connect with other parents facing similar challenges. So in fact, not just for, even students, but possibly even undiagnosed students, undiagnosed studentka. So na przykład będzie powiedzieć dla państwo na podcast studentka. That is what students means, plural, liczba mnoga.
Oh, you should do a Polish club.
That would be awesome. Yeah, a Polish club. That would be so cool.
I would join.
That would be awesome, bro. Yeah, Lachlan, you would definitely join that. I know him because he knows these 2 like really, amazing Polish women.
Very, very amazing.
Very, very amazing, very pretty. So yeah, it's like his I don't freaking know, cousins or something. Or you have?
No, we went to school.
Oh, you just went to school with them.
They're powerhouse piano players.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, so if you want to have that amazing, Polish piano playing skill, that finesse, you should go and contact Lachlan's former schoolmates. They're 2 amazing Polish women, so shout out to them. What are their names?
Maja Tremiszewska and Karolina Wozniakiewicz.
So Kayla Wozniakiewicz.
Took a long time to learn how to pronounce those.
That is very true. I think so. That's definitely something that is probably not easy to do. So yeah. Then right here during the upcoming event, a distinguished panel of experts in ADHD will share their insights, expertise, and so there's a bunch of other stuff. They'll discuss a wide range of topics. For example, understanding the neurobiology of it, and of course, learning all the symptoms, understanding, all of these like effective parenting techniques to support children, basically kind of the whole package, the whole bundle package that you would need for understanding ADHD. So very awesome. I find that's actually very interesting and very cool for, for the podcast, or yeah, of course, for the podcast, but for Fusion in general. So that just really shows that Fusion is very pro-student, and they are always taking specialized care for all of us. Just the godfather of all of our students is Fusion. So amazing. So if you want to join and you think Fusion, or your child is definitely suffering from, big kind of ADHD, ADHD,
Stimulate.
yeah, stimulation and challenges that come with it, that is definitely going to be Fusion is definitely going to be supportive of that, and definitely up to date with all of the correct knowledge and everything in between. So it's very nice. And yeah, so I would basically say that is it for that topic and everything. And then we can go to the world news. So I actually have some world school related news. This is kind of more with Muslim women in France. So believe it or not, actually, it's pretty interesting. So I'm gonna go and open that up. Lachlan, you can go and say something. You got something to say?
Well, one of the great things about Fusion is that it does really kind of meet the student where that student is. So you could be in a really tough spot. You might just be in a regular spot, but Fusion, it can actually tailor everything to what you need it to be.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. So I think it's been very tailorable for me. So when I've joined when I've joined Fusion, I definitely think that whatever it's called, it's been so flexible with me, and being able to kind of tune or change to my learning style that I have. It's always very it's always very enjoyable, and always very fun and amazing opportunity to be at Fusion and all that. So I would definitely say it's definitely an experience that is to be cherished and valued when you do pour in, definitely investment to the Fusion tuition. But it's definitely worth all of the money that we have paid for our tuition with Fusion. So if you're interested, of course, to exploring Fusion and maybe even considering it as a education opportunity, you can go to, and I believe it's just fusionacademy.com. And then you can go and see or check out that kind of the whole deal that has to do with Fusion in your nearest Fusion school, like near you, especially if you live in a metropolitan area. It's probably going to be near you.
It's definitely somewhere.
Yeah, and we can also do online teachings, of course, and all of that. So it's definitely awesome. So this coming up for this upcoming news, actually, that this has just happened recently within the past week, I believe. So France's education minister, they have like an education minister or head there for their, their country. Obviously, in the U.S., it's a bit different, of course. We don't necessarily have like on a super minister level of education, maybe, but
we would have a head of the Department of Education. Maybe?
Yeah, probably, yeah. And there's probably, since we're more of a bigger country, I think, I'm not a freaking government expert, so don't freaking trust me what I'm saying here, but we probably have a whole bureau to that. So, and then we'll have the head of a bureau of, education. So I think it's pretty nice, very epic. And let me just go and open this up here.
The Muslim students.
Muslim students, yes. My laptop's being a bit laggy here. But anyways, so Lachlan, do you have anything else to say about like what Fusion would be as a good school, or anything that you really like here that specifically is regarding to maybe like the clubs, for example? You can talk about a bit of the clubs more, maybe. What do you think?
With the clubs, they are all student driven, and all the faculty here would be happy to be a mentor or an advisor to any club. So if there's any interest, like especially as an example, if you like podcasting, we have a podcast club. If you like playing video games, we have a video game club. We're also thinking about starting a D&D, Dungeons and Dragons club that will meet on Fridays to play out some serious long role-playing games.
Mm-hmm.
And as Fusion kind of gears its way into the school year, you'll probably see a few more actual clubs pop up here and there. Once it gets cold, there will probably be a ice skating club where we can go out on the lake and ice skate, because we are in Minnesota after all, and Minnesota gets rather cold. So that lake will be frozen for a good 4 months solid. And we can then kind of go from that point and say, oh, maybe we should have like a fishing club once the melting happens and we can go back and start fishing. We did have fishing poles coming in last year, but we never really made a club out of it. But I think this year it might actually turn into a club. So the students can really just, whatever their interest is at that time, form a club to kind of like support it. And all of the administration and faculty here will support that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely very, amazing school, or kind of an amazing school feature to have with Fusion and all of that. So definitely clubs are something that's kind of a core part in, kind of student involvement with the school. I think, stuff like that. I really think that's definitely something that is, always fun. And of course, I think in public schools there's also clubs too, but in Fusion we also do that available. So yeah, if you would like to do that. And so yeah, it is 1:30 now, so I'm gonna go in quickly, see if I can go and access this thing so we can quickly cover this amazing thing. And then right after this, I'm actually going to give a special video, an interview with our teacher, Josh. So Josh is the Earth Space Science teacher. He also teaches Wellness and American Sign Language, or ASL, to a bunch of students that I have here that I know. And I've seen, like them taking the classes. I always walk by, people's classes, and our doors kind of have this little, like, transparent part or glass pane. And I can always see, people are enjoying, like, learning with him. They're doing all these hand signs. How do you say your name? Or whatever. I accidentally do it. Okay. So yeah, crazy, like all this amazing stuff. So let's just go, and I think this usually works better with Safari for this stuff. But we can go and quickly, check that out. So let's just go and, yeah, so, but anyways, I think, Lachlan, I do want to ask a bit of another question here. So I'm going to say, what is probably, what are some of the classes that you teach that you enjoy? Like, what kind of content do you do when you're teaching students? And what do you think, what were you just doing today? Kind of, what do you think is definitely worth mentioning for kind of some local Fusion news, if we go back to that a bit, while I'm waiting for my, of course, the article to load up?
Of course. Well, a lot of the classes that I teach range in a very kind of broad. They can be anywhere from digital editing, video, to taking piano. So some of the days of the week I am teaching just regular piano classes where the students learn the chords and how to read the notes. And then other classes I'll be teaching you how to write songs within Logic, and really just how to kind of control those programs, and hopefully, to the point, get you to where you be able to compose and work on your own and get a lot of enjoyment out of that music process. A lot of the classes, though, can stem from a guitar lesson to digital recording, all the way to video editing, and anything that deals with media essentially kind of takes place in this music class.
That's amazing. So yeah, I think that's always awesome. We definitely really do have some amazing subjects. Of course, you have all of, the boring maybe subjects. I don't know if maybe some of you guys, like, your uncle asks you at Thanksgiving or something, like, oh, what's your favorite subject, And you go say, I don't know, maybe like English or something. And then, but you might say like, oh, I actually am really taking this super cool, like, okay, how about this podcasting class or something, which I did do with entrepreneurship. So I'm also going to show some of the course material in a future podcast, as well as along with some other things that I've had made in my classes. So that will be another future content thing.
Some terrific stuff.
And yeah, so that is basically it. Now I'm going to go quickly cover the thing. I'm just going to take like 1 minute here to kind of go and read this article. So let me just go and adjust something with our levels, and we can also see how long we've been going for. About 20 minutes. So we can go here and we can go check this out. So right here.
From the New York Times.
Yes, from the New York Times. So I'm actually going to go and in post, I'm going to go, because my laptop kind of died. But right here on the, I'm going to go and show kind of a copy recording of the New York Times article that I'm reading right now with like scrolling or something. So glad we have post-production available. Sadly, we cannot do live episodes, by the way. But right here, the headline on the New York Times article that I found today was Muslim students' robes are latest fault line for French identity. So basically what this title is explaining is that all of these Muslim students within France are now kind of being, threatened to not be able to wear their, I believe it's pronounced the ababias or something. So hopefully, I should probably look up the pronunciation before I go and start, avidly talking about it on the podcast. But right here, we can see that there's definitely some controversy that's come in. And I think I said this already before, but I think it was said last, I can't remember the date, but this article was written September 15th. So this was about a week ago. The mass French return to work, known as the rentrée, is often marked by renewed social conflict. And so right here, this year has been no exception, as the summer lull has given way to yet another battle over a current national obsession: how Muslim women should dress. So the last month,
French.
very
The
French.
French are always telling you how to look.
Oh, really?
Their fashion.
Actually, yeah, I can see what you mean. Maybe that's like there's like a core of truth to that, or a kernel of truth. I don't know.
I see it as the French aren't really big on religion, and when they see the robes, they see religion, not just clothing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I can see what you mean by that. And I believe France, oh, never mind. Italy was the Axis powers. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to apply World War II history or knowledge to this right here. So, but right here we can see that, there's been a response by the Muslim women to this declaration by the Minister of Education from France. And specifically, he just said that he was newly appointed. He's actually the newly appointed education minister, Gabriel Attal. He's 34, and he said the abaya can no longer be worn in school. So that's what he said last month. He was just with France still in vacation mode. He is the newly appointed education minister, so he's not even like some kind of, he hasn't been around for a while. This is like, dang. So this is kind of one of his first kind of objectives here. So I don't know if people have already known that this was kind of one of his goals. There's a voting process.
Well, it says here that the government believes the role of education is to dissolve ethnic or religious identity.
Wow.
And that's really not the role of any government per se. I mean, not one that says it's a free country,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely not necessarily a free country, kind of criterion to give. But, so, and then there's this quote right here: you should not be able to distinguish your identity. You
should not be able to tell somebody's religion just by looking at them.
Oh, I see. And then that's what Mr. Attal said. So you should not be able to distinguish or identify the students. Oh, interesting. So he kind of wants everything like very regulated, in a sense, with like.
Then make school uniforms.
Yeah, just make school uniforms, right? So, I mean, yeah.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. Yeah, you don't have to like go out of the scope of people's personal lives.
Everybody has to wear khakis and a red polo.
Or just like freaking dress like Jesus, bro. Everyone's, actually, we're just going to go full religion mode, scroll of this. Everyone's going to walk around in sandals. And
you have
like
to wear sandals now. Sorry.
And you're going to be like freaking dripping sand wherever you go because you're in freaking Jerusalem. I don't know. So, yeah, very, very interesting. So right here, but since then, I'm going to leave off with this. Since then, organizations representing the country's large Muslim minority of about 5 million people have protested. Some girls have even taken to wearing kimonos or other long garments to school to illustrate their view that the ban is arbitrary. And a fierce debate has erupted over whether Mr. Attal's August surprise, just before students, his August surprise, of course, his declaration that he made, just before students went back to their classrooms, was a vote-seeking provocation or a necessary defense of the secularism that is France's ideological foundation. So in other words, that's basically just a fancy way of saying that all of the fusion students or sorry, not the fusion students, all of the France students right here, they're going back to class, and that, they should be, kind of listening to me, kind of my ideology, that France should be this, kind of more regulated. Religion shouldn't be pronounced or anything like that, which, isn't the most, insane idea or anything. I can see kind of the innocence or like meaning of that. Maybe he doesn't want everything to be, but I do think, in my opinion, and probably Lachlan's too, that I would probably say that people's religious freedom and to like wear their own clothes is probably a bit more important than or something that's a bit more valuable, that deserves or that does not deserve to be overridden by government ban.
Most people are always trying to find an identity, and what they're trying to do is rob them of that identity. Who cares if their identity is Muslim? Good for them. They have found something that they identify with. I could put on ripped jeans and a leather jacket. You would probably tell that I'm identifying with something too, but it's just the way that we should stop looking at people. If you look at someone and you see their religion, you're looking at them in the wrong way.
Wow, yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's definitely that's a great way to like word it or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's basically it for this article. They just kind of go on how they've actually banned it, I think, it looks like now. That's not even, let me see, France banned ostentatious religious symbols. Oh, okay.
Really, you can't have a cross necklace anymore?
Oh, wow, really? Dang, so it's like really any religion.
Well, a symbol is a cross, so the Star of David is another one for the Jewish, and then the Islam would have like the crescent moon, so that's really silly to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely
tax dollars at work, though.
I know, right? Yeah. So, I think I definitely can make a connection here. Another final comment here is really that I can kind of make a connection with. You were saying that those students are kind of trying to find their identity, and people like to wear, they were also not just wearing, their abebas or babas, they were wearing also kimonos, which is kind of a Japanese culture thing.
They could wear like a Hindu kind of gown too, yeah.
That would be pretty nice. And, I think definitely that's kind of always something that I see a lot of students and people around me my age and older or younger, they kind of always are trying to find. But especially when you're in that transitioning period between being a teenager and an adult and all of that, you're trying to find who you are, trying to find something that fits you and that you really like to be and all of that. So I think that's always very important for a student to be able to do. So at Fusion, of course, if we're going to advertise Fusion, my boy Fusion again, or my girl Fusion, or they them pronouns from our school, to be honest. We always got to respect everyone's pronouns just like we do. We got students that got their own pronouns, so we always take that into account. We make our campus always very warming and welcome to anyone. And, I was going to say, though, that a bunch of students here, I can definitely see I kind of forgot what I was going to say, but basically, all the students here, they're also definitely free to explore and just express themselves through their clothing as long as it's appropriate. We do have a dress code. So everything is always, we try to keep it, open acceptance. So I have never had like any negative experience with another or encounter with another student here, at least so far. So I haven't. It's just
it's always been great.
Yeah, I think it's
Very
been
pleasant.
doing great. So we've definitely had like maybe one person in particular that's always been rebellious, but we always work with them, and our teachers they have a very good temper. So I remember actually our teacher Megan, kind of a funny aside here, I remember she was talking about how they interview like new teachers. They'll go and literally simulate themselves as like
A really difficult student.
Yeah, a really difficult student. And I remember Megan said, she said, this was like an example of one of the students, and one of the students, Megan said, hey, actually, can I go for lunch? Or can I go to the bathroom? And then the teacher said, oh, no, you can't. And said, but I want to anyways. Or I think they said but I can do it now. Or something. It was like a bit of more of a kind of stunning comeback. And the teacher just, during the middle of the simulation or whatever, she kind of just stopped, and she was just kind of in a denial of the present moment. These things should not be happening. So yeah.
But they do.
They do. Anyways, I basically have to close out the podcast right now because I remember I do have a Polish class that I need to get to. But that's basically it, guys. So thank you for listening, and can't wait to tune into the next episode. And here's actually Josh right now. Hello, we are live with the Fusion Student Podcast, and this is a pre-recorded segment I have with our fellow teacher, Josh. Say hello, Josh. How you doing today, Mr. Josh? How's it going?
Well, thanks for having me.
Amazing, yes. So we're going to be getting this radio show with you. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do a 50s freaking radio show, old-timey
Really
thing
impressive.
right now.
I'm not gonna lie. It was really impressive.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's a colonial, immeasurable accent that I've been working on just a lot. So today we're going to be having an amazing 50s, or actually 1920s lottery that is happening, and this is right before the Great Depression, before everyone gets broke, and we have many people starving, and everyone's basically homeless. So we're gonna have a bunch of credit card debt and stuff to come. If this is the 50s, I mean the 20s, but it's
Quite
not, so.
racially ambiguous, that's for sure. Because I have
Yes.
absolutely no idea who that accent belongs to.
Yeah, I was probably close. I'll go edit in some kind of little colonial accent of what I'm trying to think of. But anyways, yeah, so bit of a hiccup. My accent, but it's okay. I'm working on it.
Totally fine.
Oh yeah. So anyways, this is Josh. So Josh Ekong. So let's welcome in Josh, everyone. Woo! Yeah. Thank you.
It's great to be here. Thanks for
You-
having me.
Okay,
again.
you guys can. It's. Applause is done. Stop. Thanks. Anyways, go ahead. So Josh, you can introduce yourself. Basic. What do you want to talk about the school? What you
Yeah.
teach?
Yeah. My name is Josh. I'm originally from Maryland, so the East Coast. And I went to college at North Central University, which is actually like 20 minutes away from here. So I went to college around this area. After that, after I graduated, I moved to Long Beach, California, where I started my career at Fusion. I started actually at Fusion Palos Verdes. And when the Minneapolis Edina School opened, I was like, I'm kind of lonely in Long Beach. And I was like, I could kind of go back to Minneapolis where I know people. So I chose to do that, and I am an ASL teacher, as well as a science teacher as well sometimes.
Awesome. I actually took Earth Science with him, so he's a very good teacher.
Space science.
Earth space science. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, I was definitely paying attention to that class. I took many notes.
You
So
were forced to take those notes.
I was
yeah,
forced
thank
to take
you.
those
Thank
notes.
you for
Yeah,
taking those
it's true.
notes.
It's true. Anyways, so okay, I'm just gonna. But anyway, so yeah, that's basically it. So can you go and tell us a bit more about Fusion as a school right here?
Yeah, Fusion is a really unique opportunity for students who aren't really successful in a mainstream school setting. So Fusion kind of prides itself in having that one-on-one teacher-to-student, classroom setting, which honestly can sound a bit intimidating, especially for a student because they're talking to an adult the entire time. But Fusion really does pick some of the best people in that field to teach, and I think that's a great model because we always hear the saying, "Those who can't do teach," but the truth about it is that a lot of teachers who are here can do and can teach. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that really shows and kind of expresses really, Fusion as a school and what we're capable of, what kind of potential is there for students when they're able to go and have like a one-on-one experience, especially when, this certain, like stimuli, the normal environment of like a public school with like so many, for some people their five senses can be very overwhelmed, and they can have, or a lot of it could be some kind of forms of anxiety. Some people definitely have certain types of anxiety, a lot of worries that distracts them from their learning. Could be any type of thing, could be a worry, kind of anxiety past depression type of thing. It could be like even like social anxiety or something. Many people have that, and that's that's also becoming definitely more prominent. There's a lot of mental health awareness stuff, which we definitely exercise here at Fusion as well. So yeah, I think this is definitely a school that really gives a lot of opportunity for that. And yeah, I would say it's definitely very enabling. Yeah, that's kind of the word I would give for all of this. So Can you kind of go into more or like a bit more with the subjects you teach?
Yeah, so I guess I'd have to break it down into the Palos Verdes campus and then the Minneapolis campus. So with Palos Verdes, I was teaching sign language, obviously, and I would sub some classes too. That was really fun, subbing especially ASL 3. And I remember one of my students for my ASL 2 class, and she was like, "Josh, this was the I was gonna say worst. It wasn't worst. This was the hardest class I've ever taken." And I admitted, I was like, "Yeah, I'm a hard teacher," but she learned a lot, and she admitted that she learned a lot too. So that was really cool. And Palos Verdes, I did teach middle school science too, but here in Minneapolis, I do teach ASL and I teach middle school and high school science. The ones that I can handle, obviously, if it's like molecular biology and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna pass it. And then electives like community minds, which is an amazing class. Life skills, which I don't think is offered anymore. Yeah, classes like that. Oh, and wellness, of course. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So he's also done. We have like a wellness class that Josh treats or teaches. I mean, or treats maybe. Like wellness. Treating people. I don't think. Okay, people are like patients when they come to that class, the wellness class. But could you maybe go like into more of one of your what's probably one of the favorite subjects that you teach or that you like to teach?
That's a good question. I have a very specific answer for that. My favorite class to teach is probably Honors ASL 2. And I say that because my background is in music interpreting. So I actually adopt an entire unit to just music interpreting in that class. And for my regular ASL students too, they do have the opportunity to interpret any song that they want really, as long as it's school appropriate. But one of my students did Hard Times by Paramore.
Oh.
And another one did, what was it? It's escaping me. Oh, yeah, the Lizzo song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, which one?
Something about a phone. That's all I remember.
Okay.
That's all I
That's pretty
remember.
cool.
So, yeah.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, so thank you for your answers. They seemed very intriguing, genuine. I think it's great for the podcast that you're here and stuff. So I really congratulate you and all of that. It's definitely appreciated by me and everyone else. So how about before Josh goes, we are probably about up to our time. We're just gonna have a bit of a show and tell for a minute or two. If Josh, you want to go and quickly go and get your ASL or whatever you're going to show.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Alright, cool. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm just going to kind of give some filler for the dead air that we potentially may have had. If I didn't say anything right now, but guys, I'm literally going to cover you. I'm literally going to be the savior of the dead air. I'm literally going to fill this whole freaking studio, bro. This whole freaking, deal with some crazy talking. But yeah, so anyways, that's basically it for this Fusion interview. We're just going to have a show and tell thing. He's already back. So yeah, let's just keep going. So Josh is back. Woo! A ghost is coming back. Ghost is coming, haunted spirit. Josh was now banished from this podcast a long, ancient, 30 seconds ago, but now he is back.
Yep,
he is
I'm
back
back.
with this adventurous show and tell business.
Yeah, so for show and tell, I wanted to pick up, so first of all, I guess, let me back up. So every in-person ASL student that I have gets the opportunity to receive a hand from me. And what they can do is they can decorate it however they want to decorate it. Some people put acrylic nails on it, some people just paint them. But this was actually my first ever ASL student, and it was awesome because I didn't go to school to be a teacher. I went to school to be an interpreter. And the fact that this student was really, really just gravitated to my teaching style and the subject that I taught. So they did take my class, and they were a natural. So in ASL, this is the letter B, and their name actually started with a B. So yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. So that's basically all the time we have for this interview. But again, let's just have a second round of applause for Josh here, the go-to teacher, bro. He's insane. Actually, he has a nickname. I actually found out, kind of halfway through our Earth Science Space class that he actually, his nickname is Goat. So, actually, not only is my opinion, but it's a fact. So let's give another round of applause. Let's go!
Awesome. Thanks. This is great.
Awesome. All right, thank you. All right, Josh. That's basically all the time we have for this segment. And so peace out. We're gonna go back to the regular podcast. Peace out.